What is going on YouTube? Drew Kirchiff here, and I'm going to be telling you guys in this video, giving you specifics, giving you a basic, easy blueprint, kind of like a 5-step guide on how I built my physique, my specific physique. Now, I get a lot of comments, honestly, about how my physique is, it's kind of people's like dream physique, I guess, because I'm not like insanely big, like taking tons of gear, or nor am I, scrawny. I'm kind of like in the middle. And that's kind of the whole thing that I push for, is taking natural physiques to their limit and always trying to push the barrier and go farther and further and try to put on more mass. As a natural, I feel like you should never worry about getting too big. I think it's just, if anything, that's what you should be trying to do, because as a natural, you're not going to get uncomfortably big where daily activities of living are hard, your health is going to tank. As long as you stay natural and don't put anything exogenous into your body and live a decent, healthy life, you should always be pushing the agenda for more mass, more strength, more on key with your diet, and better sleep in general. So your body will never let you get too big naturally, I promise. So you should try everything in your power to get to that level. But that's another point. It's not what this whole video is about. The main points that I'm going to be prioritizing here when I'm talking to you and explaining how to build my specific physique, I'm kind of going for more of that right now. I'm going for more of that lean, kind of like, aesthetic look. I get a lot of comments that I look like a typical Greek god statue, which I'm not that lean yet. That's the goal, is to get leaner. I want to get to 180 flat, or even like below that. Currently, my lowest weight right now is 182. I weighed in like 4 or 5 days ago. So if I can get to 180 flat or below, that would be insane. But like I said, back to my main point, I get a lot of comparisons to a Greek god statue, which is awesome. And I know a lot of people want to achieve that look. So that's why I'm specifically making this video and giving you kind of like main strategies and main things to implement to get you to that goal. And this is going to be no gatekeeping, no nothing. I tell everyone how it is, because I'm firsthand experience. I don't take any SARMs, peptides, or steroids, or gear, or nothing. Now, for these other popular influencers on the internet, I can't speak for them, and truly we will never know, and truly you will never know for me. But that's why I'm making this video, because I know that the physique I achieved, I've been in the gym since like a 13-year-old boy, and I'm 20 now. Now, I've made a lot of progress within my last 2 to 3 years, because I realized that, hey, you can't just lift weights. You have to, focus on your diet. You have to focus on sleep. You have to focus on actually resting, recovering, actually eating a gram per pound of body weight. My first couple years of training, I was not tracking my calories accurately. I didn't know what bulking and cutting really was. And I also didn't know that sleeping 6 hours a night is going to hinder my muscle growth. So let's go start off with the main point. I'm going to keep this kind of short and sweet, because I don't like to waste anybody's time. I like you to take something away from my content, so you can support me. I just currently got signed with Alpha Line. I'm an Alpha Line athlete. Another thing that will enhance your physique, and like I said, my physique is impressive, I know, but a lot of the stuff that you're seeing is not necessarily me every day to life. Whenever you go on my page, you're seeing me mid-workout, post-workout. You're usually seeing me with some sort of muscular pump that is enhancing my physique, nice downward lighting. The gyms also have better lighting than like the typical house, or just being in the typical grocery store or something like that. So you have to remember, you're seeing me in my highlighted phase. And one product that I would like to recommend to you, and we'll just start this off by saying supplements. What supplements should you take, Drew? What supplements do you take to achieve this Greek god Greek statue top natty physique? Well, I take creatine. I'll take pre-workout on every day except leg day. And then I will take some form of glycerol. Now, glycerol basically is just hyperhydration. The muscle's going to work better. It's going to feel better. You're going to perform better. You're going to get an enhanced pump. Obviously you have citrulline, the vasodilators. But glycerol really just helps your muscle trap water, so it gives your muscle that nice fullness look. I just now started using glycerol the past like 8 months, maybe to a year, and it's some real stuff. It really works. It helps. All you do is you just mix it with your pre. Like you can mix it with water, you can mix it with your pre. It's super cheap. The Alphaline has really good. Sorry, I studied there. Alphaline has really good glycerol. It's everybody sells pretty much the same formula: 65% hyper pump or glycerol pump, 65%. People have found that therapeutic range to be the best in their products. So at that point, if you're getting, it's like creatine, if you're getting a lot of similar potency and effects from different companies, you're obviously going to pick which one is quote unquote the cheapest or best bang for your buck. And that's why I'm a high supporter of Alphaline's glycerol, because it's $30 for like 60 servings. Or I think it's 60 servings. The creatine I think is 60 servings too. But the glycerol is the best bang for your buck, because if I go to buy glycerol anywhere else, it's going to be upwards of 40, 45. And Alphaline's is only $29.99. So I had to, once I got signed, I was like, oh my gosh, you guys sell this? I was like, yeah, give me that. So one thing I would say is prioritizing some supplements. And I said some because you can fall into the trap of trying to overdo it. Never overdo your supplements. You take the stuff that you think you need. So like what I think I need for my physique is creatine, obviously. A good like pre-workout protein powder if I feel like I'm not hitting my protein goals, because protein goals is super important. And then mixing in some glycerol pre-workout. The glycerol, it kind of what gives you that fullness look. So when I pose, that's what you're seeing. So you have to remember that. Me just spotting me out on a day-to-day life, you're not going to see me pose like flexed up and pumped with glycerol. But yeah, if you go to Alphaline, I want you to go buy some glycerol, because it will enhance your pumps. You will feel better in the gym. You will perform better. You will PR. It's just a nice hyperhydration formula. You can use my code on any Alphaline products on the site. It's just code KERCHIEF, KERCHIEF. Now, if I were you, I would definitely look into the glycerol. You can buy creatine through the site. You can buy creatine anywhere, but definitely buy the glycerol. Super cheap. Cheapest you're going to find it anywhere. Alphaline, use code KERCHIEF. It's $29.99, and if you use my code, I'll even give you a discount. So I'm literally putting you on free game for the first supplement. So supplements is out of the way. Let's get to the real business here. You need to train intense. Train every muscle group like at least upwards of 5 sets to failure per session. My split right now is more of a bro split, so I'm not hitting a whole lot of frequency. So when I hit a muscle, I can hit it for upwards of 5 sets straight to failure. Also, when training, you need to prioritize certain muscle groups, like your chest and your back are like super good for giving you like a nice wide frame and making you look like a Greek god statue. And like that, I have chest and back on their own day. I don't want to hit any other muscle group on chest. I don't want to hit any other muscle group on back. So those 2 muscle groups are by themselves. And then thirdly is your shoulders. So you want your chest, your back, and your shoulders, specifically the side lateral and the rear head of your shoulder. You want to hit those muscle groups like every time you have to hit chest or back. It should be total war day. If you want to get an aesthetic V taper and that Greek god statue physique, like my look, my physique, that's like a number one thing is prioritize certain muscle groups. Now you should definitely be hammering legs. You do not want small legs, but your arms, your traps, and I'd say your forearms, your calves, that's not super important if you're going for my look, like a Greek god statue. Second is, like I said, if you see me out in day-to-day life, or I guess this is the third tip technically. First is prioritize certain supplements. Second, prioritize certain muscle groups. Third, I would say realize the reality. When you see me, you see my highlights. When you see me out in day-to-day, I don't look as I do on the camera. The lighting, being actually pumped, that all helps. So another thing that kind of goes with this is generally getting more lean or getting more vascular and lowering your body fat, dropping the calories just a little bit, maybe increasing some cardio. Just getting a better overall body composition is key. You cannot look aesthetic if you're upwards of 20% body fat. Now, if you are upwards of 20% body fat, you're in a state to grow, you're eating a lot of food, you're trying to get bigger, that's fine. But if you're going for the aesthetic physique, the top 90 physique, the physique that I have achieved, you do have to be in a little caloric deficit and kind of ride that wave until you are where you want to be. Next tip I would say is do not expect results overnight. Tip 4, this stuff takes time. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and you're going to have wings for lats and then your chest is going to have total shelf and you're going to look like a Greek statue. That's just not how it works. This stuff takes time. And not only does it take time, it takes nights. And what are you doing during your nights? You should be sleeping. So that'll kind of lead me into the fourth tip here is it doesn't happen overnight, but what should be happening overnight is you should be sleeping. You need to be sleeping so you keep your hormones in balance so you can hold on to as much muscle as possible and slowly lose that fat. Kind of ties in with the third tip I was talking about, how you need an overall better body composition and you need to maybe lower your calories a little bit, increase your cardio, just kind of watch what you eat, train harder, be more active, and you just need to be in a slight caloric deficit and ride that wave until you are to where you want to be. Now, this is a great, I think Tommy Brown said this, he's kind of a natural athlete that I look up to. I think he's natural. You cannot build a Greek statue without going through the damage first. And what I mean by that is Michelangelo did not build his Greek statues, his shredded Greek god-looking statues. He did not just build that from that. You know, he had to start with a big blob of clay, and then he had to sculpt it day by day. So that's what I'm trying to get to you is if you don't have any actual mass underneath the skin, if you don't have actually any muscular mass, when you do sculpt down, when you do get leaner, you're not going to have much to show for. You have to remember, I am physically like kind of small compared to some other lifters, especially people who are enhanced, but it's because I am generally lean. And I was at a time where I was 217 pounds at 5'10". So what you have to understand is you kind of have to take yourself to that blob phase and you need to go through an actual like kind of intense bulk and then trim down from there because you need to put your body in a growth state because if you cut down and you're 140, it's not that impressive. But if you cut down and you're like 170, 180, even 190 natural, that is what's going to get you views. That is impressive. That is what you want. So if you are a new lifter, you need to just totally not worry about getting lean. You just need to eat your food, stay in a caloric surplus, and train hard. Now, the fifth tip I would say is, you know, the body matters. But like I said, a lot of it is kind of an illusion when you prioritize those muscle groups. So another tip that I would give to you, and this one is crucial for me, it helped me the most, is to pose after every workout and pose every day. If you can outpose like certain people, it don't matter how much mass they have on their frame. If you can pose, you can hit the poses, you look confident because you're practicing every day. Practice makes perfect with that consistency. You are golden. You are golden, golden. So, and plus when you take flicks, you take photos, when you get the highlights, you get a certain page going. If you know how to pose, it helps extraordinarily. So, I don't even know if that's a word. But yeah, that's kind of a wrap up. Just kind of 5 simple tips here. I was really just winging this because this is a topic that I'm really passionate about. Prioritize your supplements, prioritize certain muscle groups, make sure you have a good overall body composition. You need to bulk, you know, before you cut. Michelangelo, he had to build those sculptures. When he built them, he had to start with a big blob of clay. So if you're new to lifting or you just don't have that much mass on your frame, you need to bulk and eat some more food. That's the fourth tip. And then the fifth and final tip is pose every day. If you can outpose someone, it's an illusion. You're going to have the Greek god. You're going to have the top natty physique that I have achieved. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was more informational. I'll give some informational videos here and there. But yeah, deuces, I'm out. I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay natty, train hard, and kill it today. See you in the next one.